Good evening. My name's Susan Deaver, and I'm the conductor of the University Orchestra here at Stony Brook University. We want to welcome you to our annual Family Orchestra Concert, which presents to you the University Orchestra playing some composers that you'll be very familiar with, like Beethoven, and some other composers that you might not be so familiar with, like the composer Raff. Also, what we've done is we've put into our program tonight what we're calling Instrumental Insights. So this will be a series of short videos that the orchestral students introduce themselves and the instruments that they play within the orchestra. This way you get to know us better, and we get to present us to you better. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Enjoy the concert.
And I play the violin. The violin is a wooden instrument with 4 strings and it is played with a bow. It was invented in the 1500s in Italy. The earliest violins were used to play dance music and popular music. In the 1600s, the violin rose to prominence as it was commonly used in royal courts. In the 1800s, violin technique expanded exponentially as composers like Paganini and Wieniawski pushed the limits of the instrument. Today, the violin is typically used to play classical music. Today, I will be playing an excerpt from the 4th movement of Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique.
Hi, my name is Stefano, and I play the viola. The viola is part of the string family. It's related to the violin, the cello, and the double bass in an orchestra. The viola has the same 4 strings, C, G, D, A, as the cello, however they're an octave higher on the viola. But like the violin, we hold the viola up on our shoulder. Some people see the viola as an in-between between the cello and the violin because it has the same strings as a cello. However, it's on a higher octave and is held up on the shoulder like a violin. However, this instrument is actually much older than either the violin or the cello. It originates from the viola da spalla, which means viola for shoulder in Italian, and viola da gamba, which means viola for legs in Italian. So this instrument was actually used for continuo sections and accompaniments in early music. To demonstrate, I'm going to play a bit from Bizet's Farandole.
Hi, my name is Nick, and I play the cello. The first snow cellos were made in the early 16th century in northern Italy by Andrea Amati. Like the violin and the viola, the cello has 4 strings that are each separated by intervals of a fifth, and like the viola, the pitches of the strings are C, G, D, and A. Since Andrea Amati's early creations, the cello has undergone many changes that have made it a more palatable instrument for both audiences and players. In the early 18th century, Antonio Stradivari helped determine and measure what is known as the standard size of the cello today. This device down here, called the bridge, was raised higher so that players could exert more bow pressure onto the string, and therefore create a larger and rounder sound. And the fingerboard and neck of the cello were stretched and re-angled so that players could create a clearer and more responsive sound and also navigate the fingerboard more easily. There are many pieces in the orchestra repertoire that could show you the range of what the cello can do, but today I will be performing a bit of the solo of the Allegro movement of Concerto Grosso in D minor by Vivaldi.
Hi, I'm Gabe, and I play the double bass. It is the largest instrument in the string family and has a deep, rich tone. It can be played either by plucking the strings or with a bow. The bass is a very versatile instrument and can be seen in all kinds of musical groups, from orchestras and wind ensembles to jazz bands and more. Now I'd like to play an excerpt from The Elephant from the Carnival of the Animals by Saint-Saëns.
invented in the Stone Age, that people used animals' bones and dug a hole in it. Later on, in 17th century, the wooden transverse flute invented. And also in 19th century, the flute was designed into many key clicks and also made by silver or gold. The flute can make sound brighter and also can make some beautiful soft sound. So the flute is the only woodwind instrument that without reeds. So we play and blow into the embouchure hole and make the sound, using different air speed and also the volume of the mouth to make the different shape of the air and the sound. And now I'm going to play the excerpt from Mozart's G major concerto.
The oboe, the double-reeded instrument most known for tuning orchestras at the beginning of concerts at Concert A440. Now, the reason why the oboe is quite difficult isn't because of all of these keys, it's because of the reed, or the mouthpiece, where oboists have to make new ones constantly, as after a while, the sound quality isn't that good. I'll be playing a little bit from the solo of the Farandole movement of Bizet's Largo, Suite No. 2.
And I'm a clarinetist at the Stony Brook University Orchestra. So this is a clarinet. The clarinet is a single reed woodwind instrument, meaning that you only need a single reed to play it, one reed. The reed is a little piece of wood that you put on the mouth of the instrument, and once you place it there, and if you blow on it, it's going to make a sound, right? So the clarinet is an 18th century instrument, and it was invented in Germany. Prior to its creation, composers began to demand more technicality in their music, and so that's where the clarinet comes in. Since then, the clarinet has become a very important part of classical music and other genres as well, like jazz. And so I will play for you the introduction to George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue.
Hi, my name is Rory, and I play bassoon in the Stony Brook University Orchestra. The bassoon is a woodwind instrument, which means sound is made by blowing air through it. And it's also a part of the double reed family, so it uses a double reed to produce sound. So, a double reed is two pieces of cane that are bound together at the bottom so that they can vibrate freely at the top. And these two reeds are laid very close together to make a good sound. And many double reed players actually make their own reeds to tailor a perfect sound just for them. So when it's all together, I have the reed onto the bocal, into the wing joint, down to the boot, turns around, comes up through the bass joint, and ends at the bell. And all together, it sounds like this. And now one of my favorite pieces with bassoon in it is called Peter and the Wolf. And in Peter and the Wolf, the bassoon portrays Peter's grandfather. So here's the grandfather's theme.
Hi, I'm Kevin, and I play the horn. The first dedicated horns were made in Germany a little over 300 years ago and were designed for fox hunting. The first horns did not have valves because they were never intended to be musical instruments. They were simply designed to be convenient to carry under the arm while the other hand held the reins of the horse, and whoever was in front could blow a simple call if they saw the fox or needed to change directions, and everyone would know which way they needed to go. But over time, composers decided that they wanted to capture the spirit of the hunt in their music, and thus the horn gained valves and became easier to play. And because of this history, the horn is often used in music to evoke a heroic or a pastoral quality. Today, I'm going to play the solo from the Farandole movement of Bizet's La Leçon Suite No. 2.
Hi, my name is Maggie, and my instrument is the trumpet. Historically, the ancestor of the trumpet was used in military purposes, such as to signal armies in a battle. And it wasn't until the 14th century that it was turned into a musical instrument. And today it is used in both orchestral and jazz ensembles. An interesting fact about the trumpet is there are actually several different kinds used to play in the different keys that one will find in various types of music. The one that I have is a B-flat trumpet. It is the most common one. And today I will be playing an excerpt from the Concerto in E-flat major by Joseph Haydn.
Talking about the history of percussion can be very difficult because percussion has shown up in so many different cultures. In every different culture, it has its own form, its own practice, and its own history. Nevertheless, in the Western classical tradition, one of my favorite things is that there's so many different instruments to play. These are snare drum sticks, and you can play a snare drum with them, or maybe a tom-tom. So vibraphone mallets, and they're very similar to mallets you'd use for other mallet percussion, like a xylophone or a marimba. These are timpani sticks. So timpanis are these large, tuned, hemispherical drums that you might see in like a Mozart piece. And then a lot of the job of a percussionist is also auxiliary percussion. So these are castanets, which come from a lot of Spanish music, but you also might play a cymbal or a triangle or something.